welcome to ontrackTV and to our series on Microsoft PowerPoint 2016. Today I'm going to be going over the ribbon and the basic interface when you're first opening up PowerPoint 2016, how to begin your first project, and how to look at all the different options. The ribbon is what we call it. I'm going to go through each of these little buttons there and explain everything to you. So let's dive in. Alright, so I'm going to open up PowerPoint 2016, and this is what it's going to look like. It's going to give us a bunch of different options. I'm just going to click on blank presentation right here, and this is what it's going to look like, okay? Alright, so what we have here is the first slide that it automatically gives us, and we're going to get into how to make more slides and how to input information onto these slides. But what I want you to understand is this ribbon up here, because this is how you make all of your movements on PowerPoint. And how they're divided is by these different tabs called File, Home, Insert, Design, Transition, and etc. Okay, so when I refer to the ribbon, I'm referring to all these different buttons up here, and each of these little buttons within these tabs are the different options and movements that you have to design the information, the photos, and the words that you have on your slides. So it automatically opens up to the home tab in your ribbon, and that has options like new slide or font, size, color, spacing, some shapes, some painting, things like that. If you go into the next tab, you'll notice you click on it and all of a sudden all the options change. So every single time you click on a different tab, there's different options. I'm going to go through each of these in this video. So like I said, the home is the default, and that's where a lot of the main, very common actions are located. So for example, font type, that's going to be a very useful one. People use that often. So let's say I write something here like blah blah, and I highlight that. I then can change the font from my home tab. So once again, this is the ribbon, and each of these are tabs in the ribbon, and each of these are options within my tab. Alright, so home tab has all of these sorts of things. The next we have insert tab, and that's when you want to insert something into your slide. So they're organized by the word, and they sort of all make sense. So if I want to insert a photo, it's going to be in the insert tab. If I want to insert a shape, if I want to insert a text box, insert a header or footer, insert a symbol, insert a video, insert audio, all of these are the types of things you can add into your slide, okay? The next one over is going to be design. These are different designs that you can choose that PowerPoint has pre-made for us. So rather than designing one completely from scratch, you can choose a pre-made design and then build on top of that. The whole project will follow this design type. All right. The next tab over is going to be transitions. That is how you open up to your slide. So when you're presenting this slide to a group of people, when you're finally done your project, when you switch from this slide to the next slide, how do you want the transition to look? And when you click on each of them, it sort of shows you exactly how it can show up. So these are just your transitions, exactly like it sounds once again. So it's quite self-explanatory. The next one over is going to be animations. So that's having the words on your slide actually fly in. So it's similar to transitions, except you're actually having movement within your information that's in your slides. So they're calling it an animation here. These first 5 that we've gone over are the most commonly used ones. As we get farther and further in, these are going to become less used, not as popular, but nonetheless, there's still options on here. So for slideshow, you can preset some of the settings for when you're presenting. So do you want it to record? Do you want to record the slideshow? Do you want to have rehearsed timings where you don't have to switch to the next slide, but it actually is going to switch for you? Do you want to show only the slides you choose so you can hide some of the slides if your presentation is too long? Do you want to present the slide online? And once again, what I want to show you is when you hover over each of these buttons, it's actually explaining to you, giving you a short little explanation of what that button does. The next thing over is going to be the review button, and that's going to be things like translating it, switching the language, checking for spelling. This is reviewing your final project, checking for mistakes and errors, grammar, the way it looks, things like that. Next is going to be view. This is the way that you can look at your slides. So you can look at them from many different views by playing around here. This is something useful that I actually look at quite a bit. But you also have your zoom options. You can zoom in on your slides by 400% and make them huge like that. Or you can fit to the screen, which I'm going to leave it at. You have different colors that you can play around with, borders that are nothing too dramatic, but they change around the look a little bit. And then we have add-ins and help. Okay, help is if you have any questions. And the one that I forgot to mention at the very beginning is this file one. It's a little bit different than most of the other ones. So for the home, the insert, the design, they all pop up in your ribbon. But when you click on the file one, a whole new sort of pop-up happens up on the side here. And that's where you're going to find your new project, open an old project, your saving, your printing options, your sharing, your account, things to do with your PowerPoint software in general. So that is the interface of PowerPoint for beginners. We're going to be looking in depth at each of these tabs and all the specific options you have in each of these. But for now, that's just a brief overview. And in the next video, I'm going to talk about the quick selection tool. Thanks so much, and stay tuned for the next video on PowerPoint 2016.